How's it going? I don't know if you can hear me, but yeah, I'm live here. So I'm at the houseboat. So I just got this new, it's the new Control Freak, the home version. So the Control Freak, if you're not familiar with it, it is a induction cooktop. I've had mine for, I don't know, 10 years or so, a long time. This is the original Control Freak. So it's an induction cooktop. It runs on regular household current. So on regular household current, the highest wattage power output you can get on a any device is 1800 watts. So that's what this runs at, 1800 watts. It's the equivalent of about around sort of 6,000 BTU per hour, if you're talking about sort of the equivalent heat output, what a gas burner would be. However, the thing to remember is that when you're using induction cooktops, the heat transfer is basically 100% efficient. All the heat is generated inside the pan. So those 6,000 BTUs you're talking about are all being generated within the surface of the pan itself. And so that is a much more efficient method of heating as opposed to a gas burner, where you may have a gas burner, you know, the top of the line home gas burner maybe will put out 16,000 to maybe 20,000 BTU per hour. However, only about 30% of that actually makes it into your pan. So an induction cooktop running at 1800 watts, around 6,000 BTU per hour, is about the equivalent of a gas burner that runs at about 15,000 BTU per hour. Anyhow, that's what the Control Freak is. So the original one is this one. It has a little thermometer sensor in the middle, so that when you put your pan on it, it can tell the temperature of the pan, so that you can adjust your temperature here, and it'll help maintain the surface temperature in the pan, or it'll help maintain the temperature of whatever's simmering in the pan if you put a pot on here. There's a probe that you can also stick on and plug in here, so that'll help maintain the temperature of whatever you're simmering inside as well. Other than that, it will heat things up to 1 degree accuracy. So you set the pan temperature to what you want it to, and it'll heat it up to within 1 degree of what you set it to. You can also set the speed at which it heats up. So slow, medium, fast are the 3 different speeds that you can heat it up. You know, when you're talking about heating in an induction cooktop versus a gas cooktop, induction sort of heats fundamentally differently, because you're setting a thermostat to the temperature that you want it at, whereas you know, so you're aiming for like a final temperature, whereas with gas or even a coil, you know, an electric coil cooktop, you aren't aiming for a final temperature. Instead, you're maintaining a steady heat output, a steady energy output. So on an induction cooktop, the only way to vary that energy output, you know, sort of the equivalent of setting it low to medium to high on a gas burner, is when you have a cooktop like this one, where you can adjust the temperature slow, medium, fast. You don't get the fine grain tuning that you can get with a gas cooktop, at least not with this model. Anyhow, all right, let's open up the new one and see what we got. So this one is marketed as being, you know, if this one is the professional version. I think this one costs like, I don't remember what I paid for it like 10 years ago, 1,800 bucks, maybe 1,500 bucks. I'm not sure what it is now, but in that range. It's a professional model. It's aimed at professionals. This one is the home model. I don't really know the price, but I understand it's cheaper. I don't, yeah. Anyhow, and we'll see, you know, it is aimed at home cooks as opposed to professionals. However, the technology is, you know, a good 10 years down the line, so maybe maybe it'll be good anyway. Maybe it'll be an improvement overall even. Sorry, it's not meant to be quite as fancy. I get this open. Come on. So it's smaller, for sure. It's still pretty slick looking. It's still, you know, it's not that small. Let's plug it in and see what we got. How's everyone doing? Anyone have any questions? 1,500 is the retail price. Yeah. Okay. So it's actually not, you know, not too much cheaper than the other one. All right. So the controls are a little different. You know, the older one has a display and then it has a bunch of different buttons around. It has a knob. You know, what I really like about Breville products in general is that most of them have these sort of analog knobs. And I really like the feel of an analog knob on a kitchen appliance, whether it's a microwave or an oven or whatever. Like, I like the feeling of clickiness. And so I hate things that just have plain old touch screens. And so I really do appreciate the interface of these tools. The new one has it has a clicking knob, and it also has a touch screen. So let's see what it says. Setup complete. Let's get started. Manual cooking. Okay. So you can set a timer and temperature. All right, so manual cooking. So you know what I'm curious to see is I'm going to put some water in here. First, I'm curious to see mainly what the pattern of heating looks like in here. So what I want to look for is how these bubbles. What am I doing here? All right, there we go. All right, so I'm going to set this temperature to, let's see, 250 degrees Celsius. It's obviously not going to get that hot, but we'll see. Okay, and so it's also got fast, medium, slow heating the same way. And so what I'm curious to see, I'll show you, I'll move the camera a little closer. What I want to see is what the pattern of bubbles that's going to start forming in there is an indication of, the heating pattern of the heating element that's in there. And so that will tell us sort of how evenly this pan surface is going to heat up. You know, because one of the things that you're really looking for in any kind of burner, whether it's a gas burner or an electric coil or an induction, is that you want nice even heat across the surface of your pan, at least when we're talking about Western cooktops. Most of the time when we're talking about Western cooking, whether we're sauteing things or searing things, we don't want hot and cool spots to form in our pan. We want relatively even heat. The type of pan that you use is going to make a difference there, of course. So things that are made out of more thermally conductive materials like aluminum or copper are going to heat up more evenly than things that are like cast iron or steel. But the cooktop itself is going to make a difference. All right, so you can see there is sort of like a ring forming of bubbles, but it's pretty even. You know, there's still some bubbles in the center. There's definitely like a big concentration here and over here, but there's still some in the center as well. I would say that's pretty even. Let's compare that to the the original Control Freak. What have you got? Okay. All right, so there's our heating pattern there. So that one, I mean, it looks to me a little bit more sort of centered. I don't know that it's more even though. They're both pretty good. They're both pretty good, and they both heated up pretty fast. Anyhow, honestly, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to show you on like a video this long, and I didn't really prepare with like a bunch of different tests to do here. But the interface looks pretty cool. You know, I'm not generally a fan of touch screens, but it does have the clicking knob in addition to the touch screen, which is good for me. I like the clicking knobs. I like that it's more compact. It seems that it heats up just as fast. I would assume that it's running on household current, so it's going to have the same energy output. It looks slicker. Yeah, I think it's cheaper. All right, one of these days I'll do a more in-depth review. That was just a quick unboxing to sort of see what we're working with. All right, well, guys and gals and non-binary pals. Yeah, you know, one thing I will do is I will. Someone just asked how accurate the temperature is. I would assume that with these guys the temperature is accurate. Of course, I will check it myself with a thermometer. I don't have one with me right now, or at least I would have to go digging around for one. But you know, it's boiling and it's at 100 degrees Celsius, so that makes sense. But I will. I'll test that all out. I'll test how accurate the thermometer is and everything, and sort of report back on this as time goes on. But you know, I'm looking forward to using this. Next week on Friday, I am doing a live stage show. It's called Tasting Notes. We're doing it in conjunction with the Seattle Chamber Music Society. So it'll be me and a bunch of guest chefs up on Benaroya Hall, on stage at Benaroya Hall, with musicians from the Seattle Chamber Music Society. I'll be using these two cooktops. I brought it up because I'll be using these two cooktops, and actually all the chefs will be using these two cooktops for their demonstrations on stage, because we can't have real fire apparently indoors. But I will be there. Aisha Ibrahim from Canlis will be there. Kevin Smith from Beast and Cleaver will be there. Kelly Van Arsdale from Spinnaker Chocolate will be there. And KG from Limited Edition Sushi will also be there. We'll all be doing demos and playing music. And it's a show that explores the connections between food and music. So you can expect live performances from both chefs and musicians, some interactive elements and some tasting elements. Tickets start at $20. You can get them at the link in my bio, or I'll go to my Instagram, or go to my Instagram and find the ticket links there. All right. See you later. Bye bye.